Hello my crafty friends, this is Lori Girl on the Ridge with another video of a journal I've completed. This is, first I have a shout out to my granddaughter Juliana. My purple nail she has been 1 year seizure free from epilepsy. So that's my strength is my granddaughter. So back to the journal. This is called Lexi. She is 10 by 6.5, very full, very chunky. My old habits again. Probably 106 pages long, front to back. It is a cover material that was gifted to me from Deb Cooper. I love it. Front is Tsunami Rose, Dreams, etc. I use most of this kit is cottage rose. There's all vintage lace and doilies and a little of everything on the front. Now this like I said, her name seam binding closure, and it will be in my Etsy shop. Lexi she was married by proxy to an Earl Douglas, who was supposed to have married her younger sister, who is the beautiful Lucinda. However, when Douglas sent his cousin to marry her by proxy, he fell in love with her herself. So because Lexi's father was such in debt, they decided that they would marry Lexi to Douglas by proxy instead. So Lexi she's a pretty girl, but not as beautiful as her younger sister. She never had a season, never had all the pretty dresses. She loved her horses. She loved working with her dad, her papa, on sums and in the business. So she was kind of a different girl. She brought with her, she was so proud, she saved her, these are gold buttons, but her 30 pounds of her own money that she had saved. And she came with these little, her own witch hazel. She liked to make creams and stuff. She liked to garden, so she would take a lot of the gardening stuff and make her own. So there's some little goodies in there. Story begins in roses. Every time Lexi would get upset, she would run into the courtyard because the gardens weren't taken care of, and she'd be just dive into the many neglected rose bushes. So there's one of the cottages that he owned, and he was a very sought after Earl, very handsome, so all these women would always be searching for him. And now that he was stuck with Lexi, he was just like dumbfounded. And she liked the birds, so again, she would always either take off in the stables when he made her mad or in the garden. And they had a house in London. And there was this was Juliet. This was another young girl that was trying to snatch him back then for the title. And there was her beautiful sister, Lucinda. And there's some just tags and this and the roses. And she would do a lot of correspondence because she always helped her dad with the business. So she kind of talked Douglas into helping him. And again, she was such into a rose garden. And there's little just tags. That's a card I wrote on. Finally, when they were in the room, Lexi would always feel like she was surrounded by diamonds and she was just a plain girl. But as time went on, Douglas would study her with Juliet and Lucinda and realize how vain the other two girls were and how beautiful in and out that Lexi was. Of course, again, he didn't realize he loved her until she fell off the horse and hit her head. But then he mended her, and then he realized how much he loved her. So she talked him into letting her take over the gardens. So she would work in the gardens, even though it was beneath the she was a countess. And she took over the run of the household. And mostly the gardens and the stable she loved. Her mother-in-law was a little ticked off because she was running the house. But Lexi kind of talked her, made her think that she was important, so she still ran it. This was a tag that I sewn in that I seen Sue Olson do in one of her books. Actually, the one that we did a swap. So I did that with music paper. And then some pretty trim. And again, correspondent Lexi talked Douglas into letting her do a lot of the stuff that normally they wouldn't. This is just a flip up and a guest check. And it was one of the little boys that lived with one of the caretakers in the little cottage on the grounds. And he would bring Lexi little birds that would get hurt. And she would nurse them back to health. And letters that she would write back to her mama and papa. And then there's you could put a little hidden note in there, ledger paper, because she worked on the ledgers. Lots of correspondence. More pretty tags and a flip out. There's a lot of writing space in there. It does kind of lay flat for being so fat. Story begins in a cloth tag. These are the coffee filter pockets that I made. Again, this is another, this was in Strawberry Hill. He had another little house in Strawberry Hill where they would, her first child would be born. And more roses and tags. And just a little flip up. And little tuck. And this is just the time card. There's a little tuck in it. This paper is so beautiful. So I left quite a lot for writing. That was her mother-in-law, who eventually respected her. Never liked her, respected her. Because Douglas was her baby. More little treasures. This is one of the envelopes. I just cut the sides off, made pockets out of them, and then just made that into a flip. Did some Tiffany stamping on that. Sue Olson's dress for their first little girl. They ended up having like 4 children. A little girl and 3 boys. There's the little beads. Straight. And more correspondence. She was a busy woman. And just another, this was more correspondence, which is actually a page out of an old Greg shorthand book that I thought was cute. Put that in there. Another envelope I made out of some paper pack that I had with some scripts. Tag. This is a pocket I'd made. I'd gotten material. I don't see it. It was this material. You can't see it. I think I got about 100 yards at a garage sale this weekend. These are all Artsy Maze. This is Tsunami Rose. I just shrunk down. And this is some ephemera that I had. It's a little pocket. And a little booklet for Lexi to keep track of the horses. They also bred horses. And that's a little flip down with some deli paper, roses. Anywhere Douglas would go, he'd buy a special rose bush. So her courtyard just would have beautiful roses. So she would keep track of where they came from. And another little guest check and some more tags and tickets in there. I just go in there and fold down. Another little, that was the pocket to an envelope. Again, this is Dreams Etc. Cottage Rose and a flip up. Another little, it just flips out, and I did it with the material and a pocket there. Another little Tiffany. Makes it look so grungy. I love it. And more tags. Another little envelope, and this came from her papa. It was her grandmother's. So she would have that. And this was just an envelope with a little flower I made. So this will be on my Etsy. This is a die cut stamp, Spellbinders, Tsunami Rose file folder. Little flip up. This was Mod Podge, so it's a little heavier. Some cloth. This was one of the packets I made with the little doily and a cupcake, a coffee dyed cupcake liner. So I made that into a pocket. This is Artie Mae's. I just shrunk down half size, I think. And that was another part of the envelope. And there's some more correspondence that Lexi would be doing with her sister. And that is it. They would travel a lot, so I just kind of left that like that. So this is Lexi. This will be on my Etsy. And I thank you for watching and supporting me. Your lovely comments. It means so much to me. Thank you, and I'll be back soon. Bye.